Okay, Mr. Examiner, I'm gonna start part B of the P-trip. I'm gonna do part B and fifth wheel and coupling combined. So first, I'm gonna start with the side marker, not cracked, not bent, not broken, amber color, properly mounted with the screws. The wires are not hanging or dangling or cut. Now I check my driver's side mirror. It's properly mounted to the door with the screws, not cracked, not bent, not broken. It's plastic. It's properly mounted. The glass is clear, not cracked, not bent, not broken, and properly mounted. No condensation, no cracks. I'm checking my window. My window is not cracked, not bent, not broken. It's clear, properly mounted. The rubber seal outside is not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted, not cut, and it creates a proper seal around the window. So after the window, I'm going to talk about the door handle. Door handle is working properly. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. It's properly mounted. It's not sticking or binding. I can open and close the door properly. Now I'm going to open the door. I'm going to check my door rubber seal. It's not cracked, not bent, not broken, not cut, not dry rotted. It's properly mounted to the door. I'm checking my inner door rubber, my door rubber inside. Not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted, not cut, and it creates a proper seal when I close the door. I'm checking my door hinges. It's metal, it's not rusted, not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted with the screws. I'm checking my my door reflector, not cracked, not bent, not broken, red color, properly mounted with the glue. I'm gonna check my 3 points of contact, my handlebar, my steps. It holds my weight properly. Those steps hold my weight properly. It's metal. It's not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted with the screws and bolts, and not rusty. I'm gonna check my air tank. Not cracked, not bent, not broken, not leaking, properly mounted to the truck. The hoses are not cut, not frayed, not leaking. They're properly mounted to the air tank. I'm gonna check my reflector. Not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted, clear, stuck on by a glue or adhesive. Here I have my 1, 2, 3 CNG tanks. I'm not gonna open it. It's properly mounted, not cracked, not bent, not broken, not leaking. I'm checking my CNG gauge. It is at the proper PSI. There's no condensation. The gauge is properly mounted with screws, not cracked, not bent, not broken, and the CNG is at a proper level. If I need to add more, I'll uncap this and add more. I'm going to check my reflective tape. Not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted to the truck. It's clear and proper and stuck on by tape, glue. I'm checking my grab handle. My 3 grab handles. 1, 2, 3. Not cracked, not bent, not broken. My grab handles are properly mounted with the screws, not rusted. I'm checking my working light. Not cracked, not bent, not broken. No condensation. Properly mounted with the screws. No electrical wire hanging. And clear. I'm checking my spring hanger. Not cracked, not bent, not broken. Properly mounted to the grab handle. My spring hanger is not rusty, not cracked, not bent, not broken. Properly mounted. It's holding up my electrical wire. It's holding up my service hose and my emergency hose. My air hoses are not cut, not cracked, not bent, not broken, not leaking. They're properly mounted to the tractor and trailer. It's properly tight. The electrical line is properly mounted to the tractor and trailer. It's not cut, not torn, not frayed. The glad hands are not cracked, not bent, not broken. They're properly mounted. The rubber seal inside creates a proper seal. The rubber is not cut and properly mounted. Then I'm coming back to here. I'm checking my dummy glad hands. Dummy glad hands is not cracked, not bent, not broken. It's properly mounted with the screws. And I'll use, whenever I don't have a trailer, I'll put my glad hands in this. I'm checking my catwalk. My catwalk is not cracked, not bent, not broken. It's metal. It's not rusty. the screws are present and it's working properly. I'm checking my frame of the tractor trailer. It's not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted, not rusty, and properly mounted. I'm checking my catwalk steps, not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted to the frame with the screws. It's not rusty, it's properly mounted. It holds my weight. Then I come down to my drive shaft. My drive shaft is not cracked, not bent, not broken. It's properly mounted with two U-joints. 1, 2. It's not rusty and it's properly mounted. I checked my CNG tank. It's not cracked, not bent, not broken, not leaking. There's no black soot.
CNG tank?
My exhaust, CNG exhaust. The sensor is not cut, not frayed, not damaged. There's no black soot, and it's properly mounted. It's not rusty. It's mounted with clamps. Then, so I finished all this. Now I'm going to do my fifth wheel. This is my apron. It's not cracked, not bent, not broken. It's properly mounted. It's not rusty. There's no holes. It's on top of my skid plate. My skid plate is not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted, properly greased. My apron is properly on top of my skid plate. I don't see any light or anything indicating that it's not on properly. On the side, we have the pivot pin, not cracked, not bent, not broken, not rusty, properly mounted to the skid plate. We have the release arm in a locked position, not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted. We have the platform, not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted, not rusty, mounted properly with the screws. We have the frame, not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted. We have the cross member, not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted with the screws and not rusty. After that, I'm going to check right here. Here we have the suspension, leaf spring mount, not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted with the screws. The leaf spring mount is holding up the leaf spring. Leaf spring is not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted to the leaf spring mount. If more than 25% is damaged, the truck will be out of service. The leaf springs are properly on top of each other. Over there, I see my U-bolts. It's not cracked, not bent, not broken. It's properly mounted. It's on top of my anchor plate. My anchor plate is not cracked, not bent, not broken. Properly mounted, not rusty. Then I have my shock absorber. Not cracked, not bent, not broken. Properly mounted, not rusty, and straight. So my suspension is all finished here. Now I'm going to talk about my brakes, because I can see my brakes from here. Here I have my brake chamber. Not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted. You have the brake hose, not cut, not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted. Brake disc, not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted. No debris, no rocks, no dust, no grease or oil. Brake pad, not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted. No less than a 1/4 inch. If it's thinner than a 1/4 inch, I will need to replace it. And anything else here?
Which one?
Brake pad. Now I'm going to check the back of the tractor trailer. Here I have my kingpin. I have my locking jaw. My locking jaw is around the shank of the kingpin. So I have my kingpin locking jaw shank, not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted. I don't see any daylight between my skid plate and my apron. Apron and skid plate, I don't see any light. Then from there, I'm gonna talk about my reverse light. Not cracked, not bent, not broken, clear, properly mounted to the tractor. The wire is not hanging, and I use it when I reverse. Here I have my 2 combination lights. Not cracked, not bent, not broken, red color, properly mounted, wire is not hanging. It's my brake light, turn signal, 4-way flasher. Here I have my air bellow airbags or air bellows. Not cracked, not bent, not broken, not leaking, not dry rot, properly mounted. Here I have my bolo mounts or bellow mounts. Bellow mounts, not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted with the screws and the mount, not rusty. Now I come over here.
Bellow mount.
Yeah, bellow mount. Now I already talked about the suspension. I already talked about the brake. Now I'm gonna talk about the inside rim. My inside rim and my outside rim is not rusty, not cracked, not bent, not broken. No illegal welds, properly mounted. I check my tire, inside tire, outside tire, not cut, not torn, properly mounted to the rim, and no bulges, no cuts. I check my mud flap. It's at least 6 to 8 inches off the ground, not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted with screws with the DOT tape. I check my tire tread. On part B, the tires have to have a minimum of 232 tread. They can be mismatched, regrooved, and recapped. I check the spacing between the tires. There's enough space, there's no debris. It's not cracked, not bent, not broken. The two tires are not rubbing. Okay, now let me go outside. Now, I already checked out inside and outside of the tire is not cut, not cracked, bent, or broken, no bulges, not leaking. I check my lug nuts, not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted, no shiny surfaces showing that it's loose. My axle cover, not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted with the screws, not rusted. Here I have my stem valve, not cracked, not bent, not broken, properly mounted. I have to have, every morning I check, the truck have to have minimum 100 psi to 110 psi. The rim cannot have no illegal welds. That's it. That's part B.